You're required to test and log 4 times a day chlorine, pH, and alkalinity. The first two we'll do together, chlorine and pH. You'll notice these two vials, the small vial and the big vial. You'll notice a CL and a BR.
Because we can't see anything.
Sure.
Can you stand up and hold up the container?
So,
Show people in the back.
Well, why
maybe
don't
we
the
could-
short people come up front? Get a good view.
So you'll notice right here, at the top of this small vial, it says CL and BR. CL is for chlorine. You guys have a salt pool, sodium chloride, that is chlorine. You guys don't have a bromine pool, that's what the BR stands for, so that's irrelevant. You'll notice the numbers are twice as much on the right underneath the BR as they are underneath the CL. So don't worry about the BR, let's just focus on CL and then also pH. So we're gonna do pH and chlorine at the same time. The easiest way to do this, you're gonna wanna get about 6 inches below the surface of the water and fill the vials up all the way. You'll notice you have a line right here that says 44 on the big vial, and then you have a line right here on the small vial that says 9. We're gonna try and get the water down to that point, but you know, you don't wanna waste a lot of time. I'm sure you guys have busy days and what have you. The easiest way for you to do that is just fill them up all the way and just flick a little bit out. Doesn't have to be exact. Right around 4. Really all you're doing is allowing enough room for the droppers to add their solution to it. So as long as you get it roughly down to the 44, roughly down to the 9, you're fine. Then at that point, all of the vials, all of the droppers are color coded. You've got yellow for chlorine, red for pH, and green for alkalinity. We're gonna start with your chlorine. I'm gonna go ahead and just call these by their last number, R001. Every reagent says R00, but they all end in a specific number. So we're just calling it the last number. So you're gonna take reagent number 1, and in the small vial, do 5 drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're gonna take reagent number 2, small vial, 5 drops again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you're gonna take reagent number 4, the red one, in the big vial, 5 drops as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This little doohickey here.
Are all of the red ones number 4?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So this little cover here will go over both of the vials. And then at that point, you can just kind of give a quick little shake. Remember what I said about the bromine, the BR? That's irrelevant, don't worry about that. We're looking for the reading on the left under CL, and we're gonna compare the shade of this with whatever it corresponds with this color. Appears to me that we have
6.
Yeah, so the 6 is the BR.
Right.
So we'll call it a 3. 3.0.
So wait, where is that?
Right there.
It's on the
That's
back.
right here.
Okay.
See where it says CL
Uh-huh.
and all the numbers underneath it?
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to compare the shade of pink with whatever shade
Okay.
you think.
So it's the third one up from the bottom, is
Yep.
that? Okay.
That's what I would say.
Okay.
So we're calling that a
That's the
3.
best match.
Yeah.
Same thing over here with this shade, comparing it to the pH. I've got about a 7.8.
That's what I have.
Yeah. So your chlorine is a 3.0, your pH is a 7.8. pool needs a little acid. So
What do you want the pH to be?
7.6 is ideal. You'll probably never get that though. You have a salt system that is. So the chlorine that it's inducing into your system is basic. You know, a lot of people think salt isn't chlorine. It is. It's sodium chloride. Through ionization, it turns that sodium chloride into chlorine. It's just a softer form. Doesn't feel so much like a YMCA pool or something like you want to shower off immediately. But that being said, what it tends to do is drive your pH up as it's being induced into your pool water.
What don't we want it to go over? The
I mean, ideally, you don't want it to go over an 8. So, you know, if it gets to be an 8, you know, that's something that you'll have to address either with acid, whether, you know, as far as adding chemicals go, there are chemicals that we can leave here to be broadcasted into the pool. But no one should touch the equipment. For one, it's a big liability for you guys. For two, you know, it's just not safe, you know.
Okay, so we would just do that and then we write it down someplace?
Yep, there's a logbook inside that I'll show you guys when we're done testing.
Okay.
But let's move on. Let's move to the alkalinity test. 6 inches below the surface of the water again. With this test, we want to get down to the 25 on the big vial. Best way to do that, kind of an easy little trick, is if you just tilt this vial to the point where the water levels out with this back corner here, every single time it's going to give you to 25. So when you guys first do this, you know, I'm sure you'll probably forget these things, but you know, you might try and flick it out or pour it out and pour it out. But so that little trick, hopefully, just try and remember, bring it back to that corner. It'll put you to 25 every time. Hopefully save you a little time as well. Now with the alkalinity, there are 3 reagents for that. We're gonna start with the number 7, big vial, 2 drops of number 7. 1, 2.
Is this all written down someplace? So
It's
when we
actually written
forget
down
this?
right here on the test kit.
Okay, perfect.
So then we're gonna do 5 drops of the number 8.
Does the order
2,
really
3,
matter
4,
in this?
5. It actually does. It matters.
How many did you say?
5.
Thank you.
Thiosulfate is a chlorine neutralizer. So those first 2 drops that you added are to neutralize the chlorine so you can get an accurate alkalinity reading. If you were to add it after putting the number 8 in, you know, it's probably going to throw your readings off because it's not neutralizing the chlorine. Okay, so now that we've got the number 7 in, the number 8 in, just give it a little swirl. So with this, what you're going to want to do is drop and count. Ultimately, what we're hoping for here is for this green color to turn a magenta type of a shade. And you want to drop, count, and kind of swirl. I know it's kind of like, you know, chewing gum and walking at the same time, but if I figured out, you guys will be able to handle it. So as you're dropping, just count. You know, you could do a drop, let it swirl. Even if you want to hold it still, do another drop. That's 2, 3. Reagent number 9. 4, 5, 6, 7. I did actually 8 on that one. So you can see it almost starting to turn. 9, 10.
Oh, there you go.
Yep. So once you get that magenta type of a color, You know how many drops it took to get it there. You multiply that amount of drops by 10. So that's
So this
100.
10 times 10.
So that's 100 for alkalinity. Obviously, if you got 8 drops, your alkalinity is 80. Ideal alkalinity range is between 80 and 120. Board of Health only requires between 50 and 150. So if it's below 80 or above 120, not an ideal thing, but it's not something that the Board of Health is going to shut you down for. We try and have a little tighter window, you know, as service techs, but the Board of Health really only requires between 50 and 150.
Mike, how many drops of 9 did you put in?
So with 9,
Oh, that's the count one?
Yep.
Okay, fine, got it.
yep,
I put in 9.
you did 9. Okay, so you got 90. I got 100.
They're both fine.
Yep, you're right in that range. You
Yeah.
know, it's not, you're gonna get different drops, and it's not, it doesn't mean someone's taking an inaccurate reading or anything like that. Obviously, if someone got a 20 and someone got 200, well, then something there is wrong. But, so yeah, just kind of a quick little thing here for the alkalinity. Number 7, 2 drops. Number 8, 5 drops. In the big vial, up to the 25 line. Swirl it. Once it's green and solid. Number 9, count, drop. You want it to go to a magenta type of a color. Multiply that amount of drops by 10. Then you've got your alkalinity. All right. Does
Thank you.
someone else want to step in?
But it's all written down in there.
It is, yep.
Okay.
No, that completes the testing.
That's it.
Right, okay, all right.
I've been watching it.
Yep.
I'll have